6 cheese head. What's that, 25 mil, not very long. Right, the airbox is now free. There we go, one airbox. The only thing I've got to do is take off the throttle cable. Choke cable's free to pull out. We remember we disconnected that one already. The choke cable's free, but the petrol one's not, the throttle I should say, simply because I left it on the mechanism. So I'll get my long nose pliers and just unhook it. There we go. It's still hanging on to the edge for some reason, doesn't want to let go, but it is free. So that's your auto lube mechanism. That device there is the pump. It's quite dirty on the side, isn't it? I will clean up that. And like I say, if I've got the gasket, then I'll take this apart and show you where the oil comes from. That's the basically the bung that seals up the rear end of the airbox, stops air getting in. Again, they are impossible to buy. I've never come across anybody who sells them, especially the earlier screw type ones, which you get more mainly on the smaller carburetors. But if you look on the bottom here, so this is your pump being driven by this shaft, and just take this gasket off and stick that out of the way. So this shaft here engages with a shaft in the gearbox, goes onto the crankshaft. So you can imagine the crankshaft is spinning that way. You've got a wheel that turns that, and that's what drives your pump. Again, it's got a nice coating of engine oil on it, so it's not actually sealed. There is no seal on that. It just literally just pushes down and sits in there and turns over when the engine turns over. Right, so we've got our airbox. We are, in all intents and purposes, stripped down as far as I'm going to go with that at the moment. I'm just going to wipe the top of the casing, and I'll show you inside where the, let's just grab this again, where the rotary valve sits. And what I was trying to say was, can you see that, how it's all blocked off? That's the actual crankshaft. So if I was to turn over the engine, let me do that. You can just see where the valve's opening there. If that valve's open and you drop a screw in there, you are taking that engine apart. You'll never get that screw out again. There is a test for this seal as well, which is to pour raw 2-stroke oil in there. Let me just seal it up again. That's fully open. I'm just going to have to turn the right. So where I was saying, the test for that is to pour some oil in it and literally just count how long the oil goes from full to empty. You're looking at, from memory, and this is off the top of my mind, about 30 seconds if possible. So you'll never get 100% seal because there is an air gap there, but you don't want the 2-stroke pouring in, and bear in mind it's going to go into your crankcase. I'm talking away, sorry, I didn't realise the camera wasn't in line. I'm talking about these rubbers down here. The bottom rubber itself is just a bespoke one that does the petrol pipe on its own. Unfortunately, I've had to see the red and the other cable there. They're going in with the oil mixture, and then I've got the grommet going in there. Again, I've seen these grommets for sale, and I've got hundreds of the things again, but try and use the correct grommets if you can. I mean, I've got a bigger wiring loom there, and that's going in with the choke and the throttle cables, which are actually grayer than they look on that picture. I'm just going to stand you back up again. What I'm going to do is poke some of these pipes through, sorry, see how loose that is. The petrol one will probably be alright. It's the oil one, because that's going to be harder. It's quite a lot stronger pipe. But I'm going to poke a bit of it through, and then we'll go and attempt to try and get the petrol tank out. Also, as well, on there, there's a grommet around the tap. You need to take that out as well, and it's better to turn the petrol on to normal. So put the pipe up, the tap up into the middle. It just, because you're bringing out everything sort of from this way up. So if I turn you back up again, so the tank's coming out the back first, upwards. Right, so I'm going to stand you back again and clear off the top of the tank. Move you over a bit and see where we get from there. It needs to go in there as well. As I say, I've disconnected the petrol fuel valve for the level. Just want to get that pipe out of that. There's that cable. Probably could cut that off to save time. I've got hundreds of these things, and I literally have got hundreds of them. One of my friends used to break these accident damaged PXs, and when he sort of stripped them down, he used to take all of these rubbers off, and when he stopped, sort of when the PX dried up, being smashed up, etc., and being sold for breaking, he was kind enough to just let me have them. So if you're listening, Peter, at some point, good luck, mate. Right, so they're quite clear. The petrol's quite clear. So what I'm going to try and attempt to do now is, when I get this rubber off here, is to see if the tank is going to pull up, basically. I'll take the petrol filler off, because I need to, yeah, I was just going to say, I bet it's tight, and it is. What I'm actually going to do is just pull the tank out, and I think the camera's going to be in the way for that, so I'll see how it goes. If it moves easy, I'll put the camera back on. If not, like I say, all I'm doing is lifting the back out. That's got to come through, and these pipes have got to come through, and once it's cleared and the tap's cleared, so stick that in the middle, once they're all cleared, it should just come out in this sort of motion. Be careful, and I'll just have to feed the pipes in, and then we'll have a look at the tank when it's on the bench. So I'm just going to stop you for a minute, probably start the next video pulling it out. So right, I've put the the petrol tap in. It was too fiddly to film, to be honest with you, and because I left on the oil feed, you've only got a tiny bit of room there, and trying to film it, I gave up, to be honest. It's taken me probably a half an hour to put that on, and that's with that correct tool. You have to basically tighten it up as tight as you can get, because it was a new tap. I'm just put that old petrol back in again, because I want to see if there's any leaks on the seal, which at the moment there's not. What I'm going to do is put the petrol pipe back on again, and feed some of the petrol through in case there's an airlock. There can't be an airlock there, because that's where the tap is actually screwed onto the bottom of the tank, so that part's okay. I know this doesn't leak because I didn't take it apart, the oil reservoir. So it's just a case of giving that a while to test, and see if we do get any leaks. Like I say, I'm going to just put the petrol pipe back on again, put me Pepsi bottle underneath it again, and just drain some off again, because the 2.5 litres have gone back in the tank and I'm not using that petrol. I've got some 5 litres of Super Plus unleaded that's going to be used in the bike anyway. So, and what I did was I drained off the oil reservoir as well, because you're working upside down, it's just impossible to keep the oil in it. There's probably the best part of 3/4 of a litre of oil taken out of that. I'm going to give it all a wipe before I put it back together again. I have actually put the tap on and the rod on. It's just the easiest way, and underneath here there's a bracket, which if I move that out of the way, I don't know if you can see that shiny bracket, that's where the petrol pipe goes through. So it comes out, goes through there and then around into the frame. I'll show you that when it's done anyway, but like I say, just get the petrol tap on, put the fuel out of it again, and then I can stick it back in the frame. So just bear with me for a few minutes. Thank you.